Endless Zone is really cool. It's great having a mode in any game for you to spend countless hours on, and Pvz strategy element lends well to this because you can perfect your style as you play. As fun as it is though, Pvz's changed a lot with time, but the game's Endless Zone has always been the same ever since it came out. It's sort of lost its luster since then, especially because of the increasingly beefy plants being added along with the leveling system. It can feel ridiculously easy or boring because of that, but it doesn't have to be. Lord knows the current devs won't do anything to remedy this, so we might as well find a way to do it ourselves. And over my years playing, I've developed a few tricks of the trade that might just revive your enjoyment of it. This mode actually has a lot of untapped potential, and if you stick around, you'll find out why. Now, something important to know about this mode is that for some reason, they removed the ability to save your progress mid-level. I refrain from calling this an official change because, for all I know, it could just be a bug. Regardless, despite how annoying it may sound, not being able to save your level and all, I think it's actually a good thing, and a key factor in making the mode enjoyable again. Let's say things go to shit during a level. What could you have done before this change? Watch yourself slowly die and lose your streak? How fun! Really though, this change makes the mode a lot more chill, as you can just reset the level if things go wrong, and change up your strategy, as you have more freedom to optimize your strategy without the risk of dying immediately. In a weird way, it's almost like a sandbox mode in that sense. If you really want to take this sandbox idea further, you can get to a level in one of the world's endless zones, maybe like level 30 or something, and just redo it over and over again, exiting mid-level when you've made whatever discovery you were looking to find. Yeah, perhaps you could just do that in a normal level, but I think Endless Zones levels can be a bit more fast-paced, making you think more. But I digress. Another thing to consider is how the mid-game Endless Zone levels, like level 30 to 60 or around that range, are actually pretty enjoyable. I know those levels can seem like the most annoying to get through because you still might not have every plant you want, and the difficulty hasn't reached its peak yet, but it makes for an interesting opportunity. Because your plant options are limited, and the zombie density hasn't peaked, you have more wiggle room to play around with the weirder strategies and experiment more. For example, non-AoE plants are more applicable here because of the not yet ludicrous amount of zombies making their way through. As well, your limited plant pool forces you to think outside the box and challenge yourself to picking unique plant loadouts that you wouldn't normally. And who knows, you might even find a new favorite plant this way. And I gotta say, and people might not love this opinion, but the newer plants, they're pretty good. A lot of them trivialize the challenge in Endless Zone, like Ice Shroom or Bamboo Spartan, but the more mid-tier ones can make for a more interesting, even puzzly strategy. Take Aquavine and Sundew Tangler for example. Aquavine does heavy damage with its base attack and knocks back smaller zombies, but has no multi-hit properties, at least not on water, which makes her an interesting supplement to AoE plants. Sundew Tangler snags the occasional zombie, killing them slowly which drops sun, but is invincible, acting as a permanent yet low-key sun supplement. You might notice that these plants have more mid-tier abilities in the context of Endless Zone, unlike some of their overpowered counterparts. Thing is though, that's the point. I think adding that slight handicap provides a fair challenge, keeping you more engaged while playing. And they're certainly not the only examples of this, I can think of a few others off the top of my head. But the point is, find out what works for you, and feel free to break away from the status quo of new plant bad, if it enhances your experience. Another point of interest I'd like to bring up is the Tile Turnip plus Power Lily combo. These plants totally change up the Endless Zone meta, and can make for very exotic out there strategies. You see, plant food abilities can unlock very unique attacks and strategies for plants you would otherwise never normally use. And Power Lily and Tile Turnip weaponize this to its max potential, letting you use plant foods a lot more frequently and more powerfully to boot. If you're able to build up enough sun, you can use Tile Turnip to place multiple power tiles on the map, letting you use more than one plant food abilities in one go. And with the help of Power Lily, you're able to have as many plant foods accessible as you want, so long as you're able to last their slow recharge. Imitator can help with this though. Bringing stalling plants like Hurricane and Ice Bloom can help you tough out those waiting times though. This is convenient in the case of Endless Zone because you're able to keep your plant foods to the next level, hence why I bring it up at all for this video. But if you don't have Power Lily at all, which is completely understandable given it's a real-world money premium plant, and we live in a cactus-up-your-ass economy, you can use the Zen Garden buffs which automatically plant food your plants the second you place them. Unfortunately, this doesn't activate power tiles, but if you have enough sun to keep spamming them, it should breeze you through the level anyways. Another thing you can do to spice up your endless zone is to utilize heavy stalling plants to allow you to bring in other less normally applicable plants. Using plants like daisy chain or poinsettia, for example, are so good at stalling that they allow you to rely less on AoE plants to kill the hordes of zombies. They make plants like Mega Gatling Pea or Ultimato, who are extremely strong, but can't do area or splash damage, a lot more reliable. Really, the heavy stalling plants open many doors for using a more diverse array of plants for Endless Zone, giving you more options to use plants you really enjoy. Another defensive plant you can bring in is Pumpkin, who isn't particularly amazing on its own, but has the same feel and function in Endless Zone for Pvz2 as it does in the Survival Endless mode in Pvz1. Also, slightly unrelated to this segment, mints are pretty fun to use in this mode as well. You can use them as instas, but when paired with plants of the corresponding family, can be a really cool occasional power boost to your defense, in the same vein as the Power Lily and Tile Turnip combo. Speaking of Power Lily, that can be used to instantly recharge mints, adding even more to the similar functionality. And well, that's pretty much all I wanted to say for this video. I know some of the points I mentioned here are a little out there, particularly the part where I encouraged using newer plants, but they're just the ways I think you can improve your Endless Zone experience. I'm all about getting the most joy out of video games as possible, and Pvz2's Endless Zone provides a unique opportunity to do that. Especially considering there's no limit to how much you can play it, unlike a few other modes. I genuinely hope this video encouraged you to play Endless Zone more, and try some of my techniques. And just FYI, my goal isn't to make you feel bad for not using my specific strategies, but to give you a few ideas on how you can spice up your own time playing the game. If you have any tricks to spice up your Endless Zone that I didn't cover here, I'd love to hear that too. I love hearing your guys' opinions, so feel free to comment about them. Or really anything, it helps out more than you think. And if you enjoyed this video, you have no reason not to drop a like. Unless you want Sundew Tangler to strangle you in your sleep. Actually no, some of you are into that shit. Just like the video. And subscribe too if you want to keep hearing threats for you not liking the video. Adios!